Happy almost Thanksgiving. Now, this week was a little different than most. We had an actual snow day in Normandy, which almost never happens.
Especially in November.
Yeah. So when we started the week, they were calling for first 5 to 8 inches, then 8 to 12 inches. Now, I don't think we got as much as that. I think maybe, what do you think, like 2, 3 inches?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah, not as much as they anticipated, but it was enough to take the electricity down for about 27 hours.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Now, in our world, that was not a bad thing. We had anticipated that this was something that was likely to happen, so we had made some preparations. And in fact, I was really excited about it because it meant I finally got my chance to cook on our wood fire. So we ate really, really well, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought this week we would do something a little bit different. We'll take you through our preparations for the snowstorm and show you exactly what we got up to enjoy our snow day. And then, as usual, I have included a couple recipes, things that actually were really handy to have on hand for the snow day, but also something that might be a good gift idea if you're starting to think about holiday gifts. So are you ready to get to it?
Let's get to it.
All right. I woke up this morning to the surprising news that our area is expecting to get 5 to 8 inches of snow tomorrow. Now, I said surprise, and it really is, because Normandy really does not get snow very often at all. And if they do, it's really not much more than a dusting. So, normally we would not be the people to run to the grocery store for bread and milk, but we don't yet have as large a stockpile as we used to in the US. And I think there's probably a higher chance of a power outage here. So we decided to go get some things, my focus being on items that were going to be shelf stable so that if we do in fact have a power outage, we won't have to open the fridge and freezer and risk losing the stuff that we already have stored. And also things that we could cook on our fireplace, because if the power is out, that means we also won't be able to use our stove. I mean, the stove is gas powered, but it does still use electricity for the ignition and the fan. So thought I would show you what we bought, because I think it's just interesting to see how the groceries vary from here versus the US. And also just show you some of the things that I'm looking forward to eating if we get this snowstorm. Okay, so as I mentioned, focus being on things that we could eat on the wood stove. So one of the things I love in France, because such importance is placed on fondue in the winter, is that you can buy these ready-made pouches of fondue cheese. So you just dump it into the pot, melt it, and then have your things to dip into it. So if we don't lose the power, then we'll do it in our electric fondue pot. If we do lose power, then we will just get out the cast iron and make a pot of fondue on the wood stove or on the fireplace. So with that plan in mind, I got a nice rustic loaf of bread that we can cube, and then a couple bags of these little mini peppers, as well as some apples that we can cut up. And it seems like there's probably a few things I'm forgetting, but just a nice fondue night. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, because we haven't done that yet this year. Then I also got, Mr. Huff will be happy about this, I got a package of saucisses and a baguette so we can have saucisson on the fire. And let's see, what else did we get? To make sure we had some shelf stable stuff, so if we, like I said, if we don't have to worry about opening the fridge, I got some red lentils and some split peas so that I can make my red lentil soup and split pea soup. I have a couple of recipes that I like to make that don't require any refrigerated items, so it's just something nice to have on hand. So I'll probably mix the ingredients for that up today and just have them ready. And we also got, on reduced price, we found containers of apple juice, and I got some oranges so that we can do mulled cider on the fire, which will be nice. Let's see, what else? Oh, and I guess in general, like just some ingredients for the holidays, we're starting to do some of that as well. So one of the things I love here is that jams in the US, the more exotic the ingredient, the more expensive it is. But here you can get things like gooseberry jam for like, I don't know, I think this is around €2. So really affordable. It had an onion confit that we can put over some cream cheese and have with crackers over the holidays. Creme de marron, which is like a chestnut cream, which is really tasty. Let's see, we're still trying to find a replacement for graham crackers because we got stuff to do s'mores on the fire this week. So we got a couple of different types of cookies to try. I'm hoping one of these will be a good replacement because I have a favorite family recipe that I would like to be able to make for Thanksgiving. And just general food differences here versus the US. So chips are very different flavors here. Like the Pringles, or the store brand of Pringle, is paprika is one of the most popular flavors here. These chips are really tasty. A pesto mozzarella chip that we enjoy. What else? Oh, so the marshmallows that we bought for the s'mores, I'll show you that here in France, marshmallows are usually in a mixed bag of pink and white. So that is definitely a little different than in the US. So the other day when I made my sweet potato casserole, I literally picked all the pink ones out of the bag so that we could have just the normal white ones. But perhaps the most exciting thing we found today, quite by chance, was a turkey, an actual turkey. So we had read everywhere that you basically could not buy a turkey in France until Christmas. And this was at Lidl today. So we have, I think, now managed to round up everything that we need to have our traditional family Thanksgiving recipes this year. So I would have been okay with not having those things, but we're very excited that we get to keep up with our traditions. And I guess the last thing I will show you, milk here in France, most of it is shelf stable. We don't particularly like the taste of it, so we buy fresh, and there's really not very much of that in the store, but we've got our fresh milk. And of course, you don't go into a snowstorm in Normandy without having a good supply of tasty butter, so we've got that as well. But yeah, I am actually at this point, I think, looking forward to the forecast of snow. I hope it happens because I'm looking forward to finally getting to do some cooking on the fireplace. It's something we've meant to do since we got here, and we've just been busy and not prioritized it yet. So if we do that, I will show you what we're cooking.
Hey guys, I'm excited. It's gonna snow. So this morning I pulled my brand new pair of snow boots out of the closet. No, they're actually like 10 years old. And one of them has a pretty major issue. Let's fix that.
All right. For a job like this, I would normally use shoe goo, but I have discovered that mine has dried up. So instead, we're going to be using E6000. We have used this stuff for literally everything, and it should do the job just as well.
Hello, Norman and Norma from Normandy, France.
Bonjour, Mr. Huff.
Is out as I expected it to be, which is fine because we get to enjoy cooking over the wood fire. So I've got some sausages going for lunch. Okay, so this is saucisse, and pretty much anytime you're at a vide grenier or a market day or any sort of outdoor event, you can count on there being multiple vendors selling this. It's incredibly popular. There's always a huge line, and it's really a simple and cheap food that's very tasty. So I thought I would show you how this is put together. So it starts with a baguette, a half of a baguette that's split down the side, pretty much like a hot dog bun. And then you get one of these grilled sausages inserted like so. So it's really a very filling meal, and this will cost you pretty much anywhere €4. So really very affordable, and as I said, very filling. So and incredibly tasty. And now for a little indoor s'more roasting. It's a cold and blustery day, so we thought we would enjoy some fondue, and we even opened up a bottle of apple peach sparkling juice. I mentioned that I have a couple dried soup mixes that I like to keep in my pantry, just so we have something easy to eat if we have a power outage and aren't able to open the fridge or freezer for a while. Now these are recipes that I developed a few years back. One of them is a lentil soup mix, and the other is a split pea soup. So these have the peas or the beans, the lentils, layered in the jar with all of the spices that are needed to make the recipe, so that it's as simple as adding water and some veggies, or in the case of the lentil soup, a little bit of coconut milk as well. Now I originally developed these with my kids in mind. They were both in college at the time, and this was something that I could give them for Christmas that as a mom I knew meant they had something that they could whip up easily when they were low on cash or couldn't get to the cafeteria. So I thought I would show you how I make these today, and then I will mention too, they make a really good gift, and these labels that you see on them are available as a free printable on our website, and it has all of the instructions for assembling the soup, so it's really an easy giftable idea. Okay, so let's start with the red lentil soup. So both of these soup mixes, I designed them to fit in a pint jar. So first step is to layer in half of the red lentils, and that's just purely for aesthetics because I like the look of half of the lentils, then the layer of spices there. Okay, and then we're gonna add our spices. So the first thing that goes in, and make sure that's nice and level, is our dried chopped onion. And all of the quantities will be in the recipe on our website. I'm just gonna show you how quick and easy these are to assemble. Okay, so the next thing is dried bouillon powder. You can also use bouillon cubes if you prefer. So that goes in there. And I'm using a vegetable bouillon, and that's mainly because the time I developed these, I had 2 vegetarian kids. I still have 1 now. So I like knowing that it's something that everybody in the family can eat. Okay, next is curry powder. And I try to kind of get it in there sort of evenly so that you can see it, all the little layers on the side of the jar. Okay, and next is cumin. paprika. And if you're doing these for gifts, you could certainly do these assembly line style and make a bunch at once. All right, and then garlic powder. So I think these would make really nice coworker gifts or teacher's gifts. Okay, so that's all of the spices for the red lentil soup. And now we are just gonna layer in the rest of the lentils. And as I said, these fit perfectly in a pint jar. We got a few extras, we don't wanna waste anything. And so in this particular case, assembling the red lentil soup is as simple as some water, about a cup of coconut milk, and then whatever veggies you choose to add to this. Potatoes would be a good example of something to use in this recipe. Okay, so there we go. So there's our red lentil soup mix with all the layers in the center. So I think it's really pretty and something that would actually really go over well as a gift. And as I said again, I just really like having it in my pantry, so I know I have some easy meals. Okay, so let's do the next one. So the split pea soup is just as easy. So once again, I try to layer in about half of the split peas. Let's see how we did there. Yep. And then once again, as this is going to get some dried chopped onion, let's make sure those are kind of level. Just level those up. Okay, and the next ingredient, bouillon. And again, you can use whatever flavor bouillon you prefer. I stick to vegetable. Okay, and then we add some garlic powder. Some red pepper flakes. A little bit of black pepper. Okay. And then the final thing is a bay leaf. So since living here, I have oodles of bay leaves because we actually have a huge bay tree in the yard. All right, so that's all the spices. And then we're just gonna finish with the rest of the split peas. As before, it's perfectly in the pint jar, so we'll just screw on the lid. And now we have 2 easy meals. And so the split pea soup is, when you go to make it, it is just water, whatever vegetables you choose to add to it, and if you choose, you can add some chopped ham, which would definitely be traditional for a split pea soup. So, as I said, the recipes for both of these are on our website, and I will include a link in the description below our video, and you will also find the printable labels as well. Now, I also have a potato soup mix recipe on the website, and I will go ahead and include a link to that one as well.